What is harp tasting? Is it like wine tasting? This one would be ideal paired with a rich dark chocolate. I like the texture, it's really refined. I'm detecting a wood chip essence with a slight lavender undertone. Last year at Somerset Harp Festival, I participated in a harp tasting. What a wonderful experience. So we went into the room and there's a buzz all around you. There's a lot of excitement and you have to sit down at a chair with your back facing the stage where the harps are going to be played. You're given a piece of paper where you're going to write down your opinions and you start building up the anticipation of what all these harps are going to sound like. Kim Adamson was the lady in charge and she explained to us what a harp tasting is all about. So the idea is that you're going to listen to a harp and form your own opinions about it without being influenced by what the harp looks like, who it's been made by, what model it is. You're just using your ears.
This is a totally subjective thing. You'll get to hear how the harp sounds depending on who's playing it and maybe the style of music.
And she helped us with some suggestions of descriptive words that would help us to kind of record our opinions about each harp. So maybe that it has a rich, warm tone or it's bright and clear. These kind of words are really helpful when you're writing down your opinions about harps. 2 harp players had been chosen in advance to demonstrate the harps. I was one of them and Janet Harbison, the amazing Irish harp player, was the other. And they had specially chosen 2 harpers to play in a different style because that really influences what you hear when you're listening to the harps. Janet and I had discussed beforehand which pieces we were going to play, and we decided she was going to play a nice fast piece and I would play a slower one to give a contrast. So she played Larry O'Gaff, a lovely Irish jig, and I played Awe and Wonder, which is an original piece that I wrote.
So this is harp number 1.
One of the most memorable things for me during the harp tasting was the fun that happened on stage while everyone's backs were turned. They can't see us. And so Kim Adamson was encouraging us to be like silly and try and distract each other. And it was so funny because everybody else is sitting there so seriously writing down their opinions about the harps. And what they don't realize is that there's a bit of a circus happening behind them. Now we're going to show you some clips of a few different harps that Janet and I played during the harp tasting, but I just want you to note that you can't use this video to compare harps like you would in a harp tasting because we shot some of the harps from different angles with the camera, and so you'll get different noise from the room and that will affect how the harps sound. And also we didn't film all the harps with both me and Janet playing, so it's not really a good comparison, but I thought it would be fun for you to get a taste. After every harp was demonstrated, it was time for the big reveal. So everyone had to turn their chairs around and Kim announced which harp was which.
All right, so harp number 1 was the Salvi Una, 38 strings, lowest note A.
Now, it's important to note that there's no winner in a harp tasting. It's really about your personal preference and just getting to know what you like in the sound of a harp. But it was really interesting to match up what you had described on your little piece of paper to who the harp was made by and which model it was. And then you got the chance to come up and actually try the harp for yourself. So that was really cool to have a chance playing it and to see what it feels like. And then also to discuss with the people around you. Well, I thought this harp sounded really fruity, and I thought it had a very old ringing sound, kind of like a bell.
It had a kind of a dark, mellow sound.
The one that I really enjoyed the most turned out to be one that I played in the exhibit hall.
Oh, really? There were actually 2 harp tastings at Somerset Festival, one for bigger harps, and that's where I was demonstrating, and one for smaller harps, where I had the opportunity to just attend and write down my opinion about the harps. And something that I took away from it is that it really is a personal thing, which harp you choose or which harp you like. It's not a right or wrong, and everyone has different opinions about these things. And also that it's really influenced by how you feel when you're playing the harp. So I found that when I was listening, I had certain opinions, and some of those opinions changed when I tried playing the harp because I needed to feel like I was gelling with that harp and that I'm really able to express myself on it and that we can feel like a good partnership. So it's important to think about your opinions of what the harp sounds like, but it's also really important, if you can, to play on a harp before you decide which one you like. Harp tasting is something that I would definitely like to do again, and I would recommend, if you ever have the chance, attend a harp tasting. It's so interesting and so much fun. And if you'd like to watch the full video about when I attended Somerset Harp Festival and what it was like, then you can click over here on the screen and up in the cards, and make sure you subscribe and click to get notifications so you hear about my next video when I post it. See you in the next one. Bye!